All right, what I want to talk about is going to, quite frankly, offend some people. There are going to be some people that actually hit the unsubscribe button. They're probably going to say some wild stuff in the comments. But the people that listen to this and will take a few seconds as I'm saying these words to just go, if this is what he's about to tell you is the truth, if you take this in and think about it, I believe it's going to make a lot of people very, very successful and very wealthy. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm sitting in my garage on a remodel project that, quite frankly, has been extremely trying, the most trying remodel project of my life. It's lasted 5 months so far, and I can't even begin to tell you. I've never experienced anything like this in my life. And a couple of days ago, some breakthroughs started to happen. And so, as I tell you, the people that are going to be offended, for every single one that leaves, 10 will take their spot and hit the subscribe button. And I'm going to share with you a story from the Bible, because a lot of us go through these cycles of being blessed and things are going well at our job or our business. And then we've got these cycles where it seems like everything's falling apart and you're going, wait a minute, what just happened, right? Type 1, if you know what I'm talking about. You go through these cycles in life. Well, just the other day, I was getting a pep talk from an extremely wealthy man that I don't even know where he sits with God, but he goes, wait a minute, you believe in God, right? And I go, yeah. He started talking to me about all these great things in my life, and it jogged something in my memory of the story of the woman, the widow with olive oil and what happened. And I'm going to read this short story. I'm going to explain some things, and I'm breaking out of this cycle of bad things happening. All right. And if you're having things that are happening in your life and you want to break through, can you do me a favor? Just say, I need this. Just say, if you need a breakthrough right now financially to get to that next level, just say, I need this. Say it out loud or type it down below. All right. So this has happened so many times in my life, and it's happening a lot to a lot of you that are buying crypto. You're buying silver and gold, and yeah, things have been going up, but it's like it's why isn't it happening right now, right? There are so many people who are like, I've been doing this for years and nothing's happened yet. So check this out. This is the story. It says here, the wife of a man from the company of the prophets called out to Elijah. She said, your servant, my husband, is dead. And you know that he revered the Lord. But now his creditor is coming to take my two boys as slaves. So this lady was married to a man that was a godly man, worked with prophets, right? But he owed people money, and he passed away and he couldn't pay his debts. And so now the creditors were coming to take her children away as slaves, right? We don't have that happening in America these days, but back then debt was a very serious thing, right? So Elijah, the prophet, said to her, how can I help you? He goes, tell me what you have in your house. Now think about her reply. She's about to reply. She says, your servant has nothing there at all, she said, except for a small jar of olive oil. Now, that's the first thing right now that we have to realize when we're needing a breakthrough and we want multiplication, we want to see an increase in finances. The first thing you need to do is start to look around at what you have and get excited about it. Okay? You have to be grateful and be in a state of gratitude to be able to see multiplication. Now, Elijah said this. So she said, I have a small jar of oil. Like, think about when Jesus fed 5,000. How did he feed them? 2 loaves, or 2 fish and 3 loaves, or 3 loaves and 2 fish. I'm blanking out on it, the number right now. But there was something to multiply, right? So Elijah said to her, go around and ask all of your neighbors for empty jars. Don't ask for just a few. That was the clue right there. Don't ask for just a few. He said, then go inside and shut the door behind you and your sons. Pour oil into all the jars. And as each is filled, put it to one side. So now think about this. He told her, look, you've got this olive oil and you have the ability. He's trying to explain to her, you got the ability to create because you're God's child. And so go and start getting all of the jars. He said, all of the jars. And he told her the secret message right there. And then start pouring oil into them. Now, obviously, she believed in it because she went and did it. She went and got a bunch of jars. But I'm telling you right now, her faith was in this situation was tied to the amount of jars she went and got. Please hear me right now. So many of you have been waiting for financial breakthroughs, right? And I've told you my story where I sit there and I started with electric trains, and that built into real estate, and then that built into a side hustle, another side hustle, another side hustle. And before you know it, I'm going from flipping $100, $200 to where I'm flipping $10,000, $50,000. Now I'm flipping millions of dollars. This isn't a bragging thing. I'm trying to explain to you right now and start breaking some of you out of this poverty mentality, okay? So her faith was tied to the amount of jars that she collected. Now, if you would have known this back then, would you have went for a full afternoon and collected a bunch of jars? Or would you have collected all the jars in that village and they said, hey, there's another village down the road. Let me go and borrow those jars. And then I'm going to go down to the city down there. I'm going to go borrow more jars. All this preparation that built up for one moment. When she went into her house, she shut the door behind her sons and she started to take that little thing of olive oil and started to pour it into the first jar. And then the second jar. And then the third jar. And this is what happened next. So she left him, right? She left it, and she shut the door behind her sons. They brought the jars to her, and she started to pour, and she kept pouring, it said. When all of the jars were full, she said to her son, bring me another jar. I'm filling up jars. I'm filling up jars. Filling up jars. Oh, and she finally gets to the last one, and she goes, hey, bring me another jar. And the son's like, but he replied, there's not a jar left. The second he said that out loud, there's not another jar left. These are all the jars that we've collected. There's no more jars. It said the oil stopped flowing. Again, a recognition of what you have, what you've went and done. Right then it stopped. She said that she went and told the man of God, and he said, now go and sell the oil and pay your debts. You and your sons can live on what's left. It means that she had enough left over after paying her debts to live on for the rest of her life. Look, many of you are looking for financial miracles, but you have to start in one place, and that is, what do you have? When I started that side hustle course, and I'm not here to sell that course, I start with, what do you have? Do you want to start a business? Do you want to go prosper? Go into your garage and look at what you have and see what you can sell. That's how I started my thing. I went and got the junk that I never used, that I should never bought in the first place. And I went and sold it. And then I took that money and multiplied it, and then multiplied it again. I've talked before about the importance of tithing. Look, I have nothing to gain by you going and taking 10% of your money and going and feeding the poor, helping widows and orphans and that stuff, right? I have nothing financial to gain by that. But what I do have to gain is that I know inside why I'm successful. And that's because Jesus Christ has blessed me monetarily because I have tithed, because God said in his word that when you do tithe, I will open the window of heaven and pour out a blessing that you can't even contain. And I'm living proof of that. So I am here to share my testimony with you. Thank you, Brian, for the super chat. So many people, and trust me, I'm telling you right now, from like a heart of brokenness, I've had a rough 5 months. And it's like a constant fight, stay positive and go, God, what are you trying to do? What's happening is he's using the plans of the enemy in my life to wake up some things, some fire in my belly to fight back. He's given me all the tools I need to fight. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm telling you right now, when it comes to finances, I know how to multiply money. God has blessed me with this knowledge, and that's why I want to share it with you. And the first step in multiplying money is acknowledging what you have. So do me a favor right now. If you know that you have something, type it down below. Say, I have something. When you start to say that out loud, to type it down. This is more than just firing up an algorithm, because there's going to be thousands and thousands of people that watch this video in the years in the future, and their lives are going to be changed dramatically. You know, in the Bible, God says the only thing you're allowed to test me in is giving. Do you know that? Do you realize that? Do you want to know why? Because once God can teach you that money has no bounds on you, no hold on you, it will change your life forever. And then you're going to learn about healing, and you're going to learn about all these amazing things, and you're going to be able to change the world. This is the only reason this channel, the Economic Ninja channel, is successful. It's because of God. And now it's time for you to start proclaiming what you have and giving thanks for it. Just like, think about it, when Jesus fed the 5,000, it wasn't, well, all these people are hungry, I'm just going to send manna down from heaven. He goes, well, what do we have? That's what he said, what do we have? And the disciples brought this young boy that his mom packed a lunch for him of, loaves and fish. Just this small lunch. And he goes, we got something. Sweet. And he was trying to teach the disciples, because the disciples are looking around going, yeah, Lord, that's not enough food for 5,000 people. And what did it say in the Bible? What did Jesus do? The first thing he did, he grabbed it and he gave thanks to his Father. He said, thank you for these loaves and fish. Now let's freaking do this. I'm sure that's what Jesus was thinking. But it's true. Now we're going to start opening and tearing the fish, and we're going to start tearing the bread. He gave thanks, and that's what you need to do. So I'm going to tell you, I walked into my house today. And all I did was give thanks. Lord, thank you so much for this new home. Thank you that, you know what I'm thanking him for? Things there's hiccups happening. I've never seen this in my life. I know it's the enemy trying to fire me off and get me confused and angry. And trust me, I've given in to some of that. And I said, no more. I'm not doing this. I'm going to give thanks for all of the men that are about to come and work at this house, and they're going to start giving their lives to God. And a plumber came in the other day. It was so cool. This plumber, a craftsman, you could tell he's a craftsman. He just said, he's in my basement. He comes out of the hole, and you know what he says? He goes, I know this is all a bummer. Just think about this. He goes, thank you so much for the work. That's what this is all about. I'm sitting there in front of this gentleman, and he goes, I know this is a bummer, but thank you so much for the work. And I'm like, man, I'm so blessed to be able to bless your business. You see, all these things in our lives where it seems like things are falling apart, and just, I'm not immune to this. These are the opportunities where we get to fight back, and we get to do like it says in the Bible, fight the good fight of faith. And it all starts, when it comes to money, it all starts with acknowledging what you have. And once you can acknowledge, you remember that old saying, never forget where you came from, or you're going to forget where you're going, right? I don't know if you've ever heard this. Type 1 if you've heard that before. In business, it's very important. It's important to stay grounded so that you can grow and your company can grow. But when you get too cocky, and I've had this happen before, you lose everything. And it's so important in whatever happens business-wise with you in your life, if you're honorable, if you treat those around you honorably and trustworthy, God will bless everything you set your hands to. You're about to see that in my life. See, what's happening right now in my life, and actually a friend of mine's life too, we're both about to go to this next level. The Lord's about to bless us. And what happens is the enemy knows this, and so he's trying to throw all these roadblocks in our way. But it's all about what we do with those roadblocks. Do we chew them up, spit them out, and laugh at them because we're children of God? Or do we lament on them? I'm going to be honest with you. I've been lamenting. And it's affected all kinds of different things in me. And I'm telling you right now, I'm passing this test with flying colors. I'm going to walk through this. And I'm thanking the Lord for every single thing. I thank him for, You're probably going to see I'm going to do a handful of custom cabinets. I can't do the whole house, but it's my passion. I love woodworking. And you'll see some of the cabinets as they're being built over the next month, right? But I'm not going to let that hold me back. Shoot, I got a call the other day. Hey, come to Washington, D.C. I want to get you into the West Wing and go cruise around and talk. And I'm like, I can't. I got this project. And I get a call yesterday. Hey, come to D.C. Got a meeting with a bunch of Congress people. I'm like, I can't. I got to do this. And then I'm like, holy cow, what's going on here, Lord? Am I going to let this project define me? Am I going to let this project hold me back? No, I'm not going to. And the only reason I'm sharing this with you is because there are so many of you right now that have something that's holding you back, and it's taking up too much space in your mind, and it's time to give it up. So how do you give it up? You start to thank God for what you got. All right? Do me a favor right now, because I need this too. Type amen if this is hitting you. You're here for a reason. Because I'm going to go back to this video and I'm going to read your comments tomorrow, a month from now, 6 months from now. And I'm going to know if you made it to the end of this video. And I'm going to know that just typing amen, you're telling me that you're like, you know what? This makes sense. This truth is resonating with me, and you're going to go do something about it. Because I'm telling you right now, Ninja Nation is not only a group of people around the world that are prepared and not scared. They're people that are growing and they're becoming prosperous. And we're going to stop watching evil people that are these oligarchs that are feeding people and injecting them with stuff and doing things in the name of, what they think is good. And we're going to see normal, average, everyday people like you and me start to feed nations. That's what God wants. He wants his church, his bride, to feed the world, to have the answer. There are going to be days where you see me in front of world leaders and all this stuff, not because it's me, it's because of the mandate that God put on my life, and he put a mandate on your life. So let's start acting like we've got a mandate and start acting like adults, and let's walk away from all the stress and thank God. And you know what's going to happen when we do that? And we laugh in the sight of stress and frustration. Maybe some of you have a marriage that's breaking up. Maybe some of you are facing bankruptcy. You have creditors calling you. The second you start to acknowledge what you do have and start laughing in the face of all the bad stuff, Satan flees. I hope you got something out of this. For every single person that will leave this channel in offense, don't worry. 10 are going to backfill and hit the subscribe button, because God's going to change your life. Not because of me, because I'm just a dude with a bro hawking a dream. And that dream, honestly, is to share my life experiences with you to help better your life, show you all the bad stuff that's happened in my life and all the good stuff that's happened in my life, so that you can come to your own conclusion and live the best life possible. All right, the Economic Ninja is out.